fire yesterday. This was near Hemet. This rescue by Riverside County Animal Services. Tonight, the dogs are up for adoption at the San Jacinto Valley Animal Campus. Shelters are critically overcrowded, way over capacity, and are looking for immediate help. Let's go live to Fox 11's Ed Lascos with more on the need for loving homes for these animals. Ed.
You're right about that, Marlon. You're also right about a dramatic rescue here. Dozens of dogs, more than 60 dogs. Imagine that. They're all living in the same home, wandering around in the backyard of that home. All of a sudden, there's a big fire at that home out in the Inland Empire yesterday. 7 dogs die in the fire, but 65 other dogs are rescued. They're okay. They're fine. They're healthy. Watch. You are looking at the survivors from a house fire in the IE. These dogs, dozens of them, more than 60 dogs here rescued from that fire near Hemet by the Riverside County Animal Services.
And there were dogs inside the property as well as loose around and near the property. And so the first task was to capture the dogs.
The dogs somehow made it through that close call, first living in tight spaces at that house, and then the fire itself.
A lot of them have been through a very traumatic experience, and so really being able to assess if there were any medical needs. Thankfully, there was no critical conditions for any of them.
The dogs now being treated here at the San Jacinto Animal Campus, where the vets say there are no signs of animal abuse or neglect. They're mostly smaller dogs.
They were majority small breeds, Chihuahua type mixes, but there were some large to medium German Shepherds as well as Pit Bull mixes.
All different sizes and breeds, but all with big, sad eyes that'll melt your heart away, I'll tell you. Trouble is, the shelters in Riverside County, they're critically overcrowded, running at 300% capacity, sounding a call for action. These dogs now in need of immediate help from you.
We've seen 40 adoptions since we put out the call to action, and so hopefully through the weekend we'll see even more adoptions of these pets from the incident, and then the dogs that continue to wait for someone to notice them and give them a loving home.
Now live, that's the hope here, a loving home. That's why they're calling it a call for action, not only for the dogs still remaining from that dramatic rescue, the house fire, but all the others in the shelters through Riverside County. And Marla, they're really trying to do everything they can to ease that huge overcrowding that you were talking about. So there's no fees at all, no appointments. You go into the shelter and they take care of all the medical situations with the animal, even chip the animal. They're just trying to help these dogs, get them homes to try to ease the, I can't imagine, 300% capacity. Can you?
Oh, I know. I hope that they find homes. So I'm glad that they've gotten a lot of interest thus far. In terms of the vetting process for the type of home, do they take any particular home or do they have more specific guidelines?
I don't think that, obviously they have the usual guidelines just to make sure the animal's not going to be abused or mistreated if they go to that home, but I think that's about it. They're really trying to particularly waive the financial cost, but also they say they want to see it's the old-fashioned way. If the dog, they always say, and we've seen this so many times, the dog picks you, you don't pick the dog as to which one is going to go. So they wait for that beautiful reunion, Oh,
yeah. I like that idea of it all. Okay.
Yeah,
Ed, thank you so much. On to this now. Police need your help finding a hit-and-run driver in Los Angeles on November 14th. About 10 p.m. in 2023, a black Infiniti hit 2 pedestrians crossing Arlington Avenue near Venice Boulevard. A 24-year-old woman, Taylor Jackson, was killed and a 25-year-old man was injured. The driver sped off without stopping. Detectives have released this security footage and photos of the victim. If you have any information, you are urged to contact authorities. All right, developing tonight, a very busy weekend is in store with events like the LA Marathon, and with that comes street closures. Also, freeway repairs, sure to slow down traffic even more. Fox 11's Susan Harrisuna reports from Century City, where marathoners will cross that finish line Sunday.
A busy day at Dodger Stadium, not for ball, but for bib. Runners picked up their LA Marathon bibs. With 2 days before the big race, nothing is going to dampen the enthusiasm to get to the starting line.
This is your first full marathon?
This is a full one in LA, yes.
But this year, there might be a little something extra to challenge runners. As is typical, the LA Marathon route from Dodger Stadium to downtown LA, then west to Brentwood and finishing in Century City means a long list of street closures. After a challenging 26.2-mile race, the next challenge is getting home through the traffic.
It's probably a perfect time to meditate and get into the positive vibe.
Thankfully, I won't be driving, and this is marathon number 7. So I think that my husband has learned, the cuts and the corners to take. But it's LA. Traffic is a part of everyday life.
Tiana may be relying on her husband, Dustin. The Rowland sisters are relying on Dad. He's run nearly every LA marathon.
My dad is turned 70 this year. He's run almost every LA marathon, and this will be my first marathon. This is her second, and so we're excited to do this all together.
But it's not just street closures for the LA Marathon. Runners from outside of LA proper also need to check freeways. This weekend, a 55-hour lane reduction on the 605 in Whittier. And then in Hollywood, there are street closures around the Dolby Theater in preparation for the Oscars next weekend. In addition to the big events, smaller ones like this weekend's Nollywood in Hollywood.
Nollywood in Hollywood is a showcase of the best films from Nigeria. We bring the filmmakers in from Nigeria, and we have one from Ghana. In Nigeria, we have traffic too, really, really bad traffic, and we call it go slow. So anybody that can deal with that, LA is a breeze.
So the easiest and best way to plan your weekend travel? Check the traffic maps. And the best way to do that, go to foxla.com or, even better still, our Fox local app. Reporting in Century City, Susan Hirasuna, Fox 11 News.
All right, we've all been warned. Susan, thanks. Coming up, Ye takes a stand in a lawsuit over work at his Malibu mansion with claims of unpaid wages and unsafe conditions. Kanye West, now known as Ye, appeared in an LA courtroom earlier today over claims he failed to fully pay a handyman for work on his Malibu mansion. Rolling Stone reports the artist appeared tired and distracted while testifying. Tony Saxon alleges Ye agreed to pay him $20,000 weekly, but only made partial payments. Saxon also claims unsafe working conditions and says he was fired for refusing dangerous tasks. Both sides rested their cases. Rolling Stone reports Ye left the courthouse quickly but paused to sign sneakers for a fan.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
Live look outside. This is from our West Los Angeles camera looking off at downtown Los Angeles. What a gorgeous shot. Looks like crystal clear out there. And the big headline, though, are those winds and the warmth this weekend. Let's check in with our meteorologist, Star Harvey. Hey, Star.
Hey, Marla. You know, just as you said, this is one of my favorite views from our cameras locally. We do have beautiful skies out there, still under mostly clear conditions, and we'll continue that way through our area, at least for the downtown area. Now, as we do get through the rest of this evening, we do have that same system bringing in some windy conditions through today that will make its way into our weekend. The good news is that any of that moisture associated with that system is expected to stay off and away from us. Our temperatures right now, 56 degrees in Pasadena, 63 in Chino. We're at 61 degrees right now in Torrance. Here's a look at our sustained winds. We're not doing too bad right now, moving fairly calmly in some of our interior sections there. We're at about 12 miles per hour out of the northeast across the Ontario area, and then also winds slightly kicking up out of the north right there across Malibu at 19 miles per hour. Our lows tonight dropping down into the 50s for most of our inland communities. We do have some of those outlying areas like Palmdale, also into Victorville, where we do show the temperatures still holding in the 30s. Our mountains definitely chilling off to the 20s. Palm Springs expected to see temperatures also in the mid 50s. Now, we do still continue with our wind advisories in place. Our Santa Anas did arrive today, very moderate. As we do push over into our weekend, we're going to see these winds become more widespread. Here is a look at what we are expecting. Again, today we do have some moderate as we do push closer into the weekend, expected to become slightly stronger. The strongest of our weekend winds are expected to be on Saturday. Those winds are going to be more widespread, but also more intense. By the time we get to Sunday, we do start to see less of the area covered with those strong winds. And yes, they are expected to be less intense as well. As far as our temperatures go, as we move into tomorrow, temperatures will be on the warm side, depending on where you are. And then by the time Sunday arrives, we are expecting that our temperatures are going to be hot with the 80s more across the area. We do have that low pressure system still dragging. As we move into tomorrow, it does position itself closer to our region here across Southern California. And so it does allow for that northeast flow to bring in those stronger winds. By the time Sunday arrives, that system suppressing off to the south. And that is what is going to allow for those winds to let up, so to speak, as we move into the end of the weekend. Here's a look at our temperatures. Tomorrow, we're shooting for a high in the upper 70s, may see a low 80 across the area as well. As far as Sunday goes, you can see the big difference there, about a 10-degree difference almost with our temperatures moving just from day to day. And then as we do push into next week, those temperatures tumbling right back down closer to their normal. I'll have more details on not just the heat, but also the winds and how strong they're expecting to get across your neighborhoods. Back to you.
All right, Star, thanks. Coming up, the deadline to file for the June primary is today. A look at the official field for California's next governor, next. Well, today is the election filing deadline for the June 2nd primary ballot in LA County, including the office of sheriff, where 8 potential challengers have filed to run against Robert Luna. One of them, former sheriff Alex Villanueva, who filed yesterday to run against the man who ousted him in 2022 after one term. If no candidate receives more than 50% of the vote in the primary, the top 2 will head to a runoff in November. And earlier this week, we told you how California Democrats fear a crowded governor's race could help Republicans succeed outgoing Governor Gavin Newsom. Party Chair Rusty Hicks urged lower polling candidates to drop out before tonight's filing deadline, but most stayed in. Now the Democratic field includes Katie Porter, former U.S. Representative, Eric Swalwell, U.S. Congressman, Javier Becerra, former U.S. Health Secretary and California Attorney General, Antonio Villaraigosa, former L.A. Mayor, Tom Steyer, billionaire climate activist, Tony Thurmond, State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Betty Yee, former State Controller, and Matt Mahan, Mayor of San Jose. Republicans, Sheriff Chad Bianco and former Fox News host Steve Hilton are frontrunners in the race. The primary is June 2nd, and California's top 2 system means the 2 highest vote getters advance, regardless of party.
I'm Laura Diaz in Fullerton. It's the story of a family versus the railroad. They want things fixed before somebody gets hurt. That story coming up.
Also, a young student with a hearing impairment is deported along with his mother and sibling after showing up for what was supposed to be a routine immigration check-in. Tonight, advocates are demanding the family be allowed back into the U.S. 9:40, we're following breaking news. Skyfox live over the Reseda area where LAPD is investigating a deadly shooting. Officers responded to reports of gunfire just before 8 on Baird Avenue, where they found a man in his 20s to 30s suffering from a gunshot wound. Paramedics pronounced him dead at the scene. So far, no suspect information has been released, but clearly the scene is still fresh. It's still ongoing. Officers down below, the investigation continues. We'll keep a watch. New at 9, a Fullerton family says an abandoned rail line near their home has become a hotspot for crime and fires. They're now taking legal action against Union Pacific, claiming the area has turned into a dangerous homeless encampment. Fox 11's Laura Diaz, she's live there in Fullerton tonight with that story. Laura?
Yes, Marla, the family has owned this home for 2 decades, and they love the community. It's a very lovely place to live. But once those rail lines became abandoned, they claim that they became a hotspot for the unhoused and that the crime skyrocketed.
You know, you don't know how dangerous it is until something happens. We've had a fire. We've had 2 attempted break-ins. One was successful. What's next? My daughter has had incidents where she was so frightened by what she saw, she'd end up in our bed, you know what I mean, with nightmares.
This video shows the fire arching up towards the family's home. This is the backyard. This is the year of 2021. Now, fire crews were on the family's roof putting out those flames. Fortunately, the home was saved. But on the other side of the brick wall is where the homeless have set up. They've got a camp there at all hours of the day and the night. And according to this family, they say that it's become very dangerous. Now, in 2024, the home was broken into. Jewelry and cash were stolen. In a separate incident last year, the family was out of the home for repairs, so there was no one living in it at the time. And their Ring camera caught a woman making herself at home in the backyard. They say that she tried to break in, but when she was unsuccessful in doing that, she settled in and enjoyed their beverages in the backyard and made herself at home for something like 24 hours. The family says that for 5 years they've tried everything humanly possible to try to get the railroad to address these issues. But so far, they've had no success, so they had to take the next step of filing a lawsuit. As for Union Pacific, we did reach out to them today, and you should see their response on your screen. Union Pacific says it is committed to working responsibly in the communities we serve and putting safety at the forefront. So that is the latest here of where it stands. There is a hearing set for this Friday, for the upcoming Friday, rather. And at that time, perhaps we'll know more. But this family says that they wish they could have worked it out over the phone or through emails or somebody coming out to the property and addressing it. But finally, it's had to reach the point to where they felt they had to take legal action to try to get some action. Laura Diaz reporting live from Fullerton, sending it back to the studio.
Laura, thanks. A child with a hearing impairment is deported along with his mother and sibling after showing up for a routine immigration check-in. He was forced to leave the country without his hearing aids. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez has the story.
I'm sick to my stomach that someone would abduct a 6-year-old child who has a disability in his family when his mother was reporting to a center and doing what she's supposed to do.
The state's superintendent of education demands the return of Leslie Rodriguez Gutierrez and her 2 sons who were deported to Colombia last week. The older boy has a severe hearing impairment and was supposedly forced to leave without his hearing devices when the family showed up at a San Francisco immigration office for what their attorney described as a routine asylum check-in.
The cruelty of that, of not allowing a 6-year-old who is deaf, who desperately needs assistive equipment in order to live, to not allow that child to have that equipment, it just defies all logic.
He says a family member had the equipment outside the hearing room, but agents refused to let the boy take it as they ushered the family away. Supposedly, they fled Colombia 4 years ago to escape an abusive relationship. The boy attends the California School for the Deaf in Fremont. Thurman directly addressing the incoming head of Homeland Security.
Senator Mullen, you've shown that you're a tough guy. Well, if you're a tough guy, get on the damn phone, call Donald Trump, and have this student released and returned so that we can continue to provide care for this young man.
The Department of Homeland Security getting back to us on this, saying in a statement, quote, ICE does not separate families. Parents are given a choice. They can be removed with their children or place them with a safe person they designate. This is consistent with past administration's immigration enforcement. Gutierrez chose to be removed with her children, and they returned to their home on March 5th. We're putting the whole statement on our website at foxla.com. In El Sereno, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
All right, we have some more breaking news. This time, Sky Fox is live over this situation. Really bad accident here in Woodland Hills. A two-car crash. One rolled over, as you can see. This is on Fallbrook Avenue. Here's the thing. The driver of that rolled over car got out on their own. Amazing. LAFD is there on scene investigating, but obviously a very serious crash down below. We'll update you on injuries just as soon as we get any. But it looks like the airbags deployed in the red turned over vehicle. Again, that driver is said to have gotten out on their own. We'll keep a watch. More news after the break. All right. Oh, no one warned me about this. Look at that. Executive producer Haley just went, ha, ha, ha. We gotcha.
Yeah, I love it.
This is a live look right now, Star, from Sky Fox. Of course, we had the eclipse earlier this week, and now here's what's left of the moon. What a pretty shot.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous, and pretty crazy what a camera can catch, right?
Yes.
Just from here, from a ground view. Absolutely gorgeous. Of course, that's what I'm going to say. I love the moon. All things live in the sky, right? So again, if you do have the opportunity to get out there and take a look up at let the moon do so. Also for our early risers, if you're wanting to get up and catch that sunrise, we do have it happening after the 6 a.m. hour tomorrow. So if you're up by 6 a.m., take a step outside. You'll be able to catch it. We do have mostly clear skies through the rest of our evening here, what's left of our Friday. We did pretty decently in our temperature department as well. Yesterday, we were just about a degree higher. Today, we came in at 76 degrees for our high. No matter which way you look at it, yesterday or today, we're still fairly above that normal of 69 degrees. As we roll into the weekend, our temperatures are going to continue to grow. We will be warm moving into our Saturday, and by Sunday, we are talking hot temperatures. So this map here will look a lot different come as early as tomorrow. We've seen a lot of 70s, and wherever you show the yellow at, we have Ventura County down the coastline into the Inland Empire, down towards our low deserts. Our mountains cooled off a little bit more from yesterday. We are going to see your temperatures tonight for your lows dropping well below that freezing mark. Our biggest story is going to be the fact that we do have some Santa Ana winds to contend with. We have them arriving for us earlier today. They're pretty moderate out there throughout our Friday, but then as we do push into tomorrow, those winds are expected to be more widespread, but also more intense. Our wind advisory you'll see across most of the area here is in effect until the back half of our weekend, and we do also have those watches and warnings that will go into effect as well, letting us know that we could see our winds gusting at some times across the area as high as 60 to 70 miles per hour. Our temperatures right now at 62 degrees across the LA area. Our winds pushing out of that northerly direction at about 6 miles per hour, so on the calmer side. Not just dealing with the winds this weekend. Here's a look into our temperatures bumping up. For the LA area, we're talking upper 70s for tomorrow. We are going to see temperatures near the 90 mark by the time we get to Sunday, and we'll take a little bit of a tumble into the start of next week, but then we make a beautiful rebound, and we are looking at another warming pattern arriving for us before we do get to the end of next week. We'll be right back after this break.
Attention Harry Styles fans, a pop-up store featuring the singer is now open in West Hollywood. Hundreds of fans waited in line for the big opening Some waited for more than 5 hours. The pop-up unlocked its doors at midnight on the 8400 block of Melrose Avenue. Look at this line. The shop features exclusive Harry Styles swag and will be open every day through Thursday. It coincides with the release of his 4th studio album, his first in 3 years. The line goes on and on. His fans cannot get enough of the singer or his merch. Wow, dedication right there. A San Diego puppy is finally celebrating a big milestone. A 10-month-old Maltese named Churro has finished a 6-month rabies quarantine after surviving a suspected coyote attack that cost him a leg. The San Diego Humane Society threw the resilient pup a graduation party. And now Churro is healthy, rabies-free, and ready to find a forever home. Oh, sweet Churro. Oh, gosh, she's going to be scooped up in no time. Look at the sweet baby. Oh, good. Well, thanks to the workers there at the San Diego Humane Society for making Churro healthy again. And thank you for being with us on LA Live News Tonight. Our 10 p.m. newscast is just minutes away. Good night, LA, with Christine Devine. In just minutes. Thanks so much for being with me. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good night.
We begin with breaking news. Sky Fox live over the Reseda area where LAPD is investigating a deadly shooting. Officers responded to reports of gunfire just before 8 p.m. on Barrett Avenue. They found a man in his 20s to 30s suffering from a gunshot wound. Paramedics pronounced him dead at the scene. No suspect info has been released. Violence intensifies between Iran, Israel, and the U.S. in the Middle East. President Trump is demanding Iran's unconditional surrender, Well, Iran continues strikes across the region. Israeli airstrikes hit Tehran and Beirut. Iran has retaliated against Israel and U.S. military bases in the Gulf. Russia is reportedly providing intelligence to Iran, raising fears of a broader conflict. More than 1,300 people have been killed in Iran, 200 in Lebanon, and a dozen in Israel. 6 U.S. troops also died in a drone attack in Kuwait. President Trump will attend the dignified transfer of those soldiers tomorrow. Over 60 dogs were rescued from a house fire yesterday near Hemet by Riverside County Animal Services. Tonight, the dogs are up for adoption at the San Jacinto Valley Animal Campus. Shelters are overcrowded. We go live to Fox 11's Ed Lascos with more on the need for loving homes. Ed.
And Christine, we are talking about a dramatic rescue here. Dozens of dogs, more than 60 dogs. Imagine that. All living in a home, a surrounding yard over in Riverside County. That home catches fire. It's a big fire. 7 dogs die in that fire, but 65 others survived. They're rescued. They're okay. Watch. You are looking at the survivors from a house fire in the IE. These dogs, dozens of them, more than 60 dogs here rescued from that fire near Hemet by the Riverside County Animal Services.
And there were dogs inside the property as well as loose around and near the property. And so the first task was to capture the dogs.
The dogs somehow made it through that close call, first living in tight spaces at that house, and then the fire itself.
A lot of them have been through a very traumatic experience, and so really being able to assess if there were any medical needs. Thankfully, there was no critical conditions for any of them.
The dogs now being treated here at the San Jacinto Animal Campus, where the vets say there are no signs of animal abuse or neglect. They're mostly smaller dogs.
They were majority small breeds, Chihuahua type mixes, but there were some large to medium German Shepherds as well as Pit Bull mixes.
All different sizes and breeds, but all with big, sad eyes that'll melt your heart away, I'll tell you. Trouble is, the shelters in Riverside County, they're critically overcrowded, running at 300% capacity, sounding a call for action. These dogs now in need of immediate help from you.
We've seen 40 adoptions since we put out the call to action, and so hopefully through the weekend we'll see even more adoptions of these pets from the incident, and then the dogs that continue to wait for someone to notice them and give them a loving home.
Yeah, now live. That is the hope through all of this. And right through this month, they're trying to make it as easy as they can. There's no charge, no adoption fees. They take care of all the medical expenses just to try to ease that tremendous overcrowding they have in the shelters there in Riverside County, all to try to get these sweet dogs the home they deserve, huh? For now, we're live downtown. Back to the west side we go.
They get homes. California officials are calling for the immediate return of a deaf 6-year-old boy and his family. They were deported after they showed up for a routine asylum check-in in San Francisco. Family says the hearing impaired child was forced to leave the country without his hearing aids. They're now in Colombia. There are calls for the Trump administration to bring them home.
Senator Mullen, you've shown that you're a tough guy. Well, if you're a tough guy, get on the damn phone, call Donald Trump, and have this student released and returned so that we can continue to provide care for this young man.
The cruelty of that, of not allowing a 6-year-old who is deaf, who desperately needs assistive equipment in order to live, to not allow that child to have that equipment, it just defies all logic.
The family's been living in Northern California for 4 years. The Department of Homeland Security says they are in the U.S. illegally. Fullerton family says an abandoned rail line near their home has become a hotspot for crime, fires, and a homeless encampment. Tonight, they're taking legal action against Union Pacific. Fox 11's Laura Diaz is live in Fullerton with that story. Laura?
Yes, Christine, this quiet neighborhood, a lovely neighborhood, says they're now experiencing a lot of problems dealing with the homeless and recently a fire, and they say the railroad is to blame.
My daughter has had incidents where she was so frightened by what she saw, she'd end up in our bed, you know what I mean, with nightmares.
This Fullerton man is fed up. He says an abandoned rail line near his home on Cienega Drive has been abandoned. The problem? It's right next to his home, and the homeless have claimed it. The saga began 6 years ago. This video was shot directly over his backyard wall. It shows an unhoused man on the phone sitting on a sofa in 2019.
All right, hey.
2 years later, he says someone at the homeless encampment left a campfire unattended. It sparked a fire in the tinder dry trees. It burned within feet of his home. Firefighters fought the blaze from his roof. But while the powerful flames were frightening, danger literally entered their home. In late October of 2024, police were called to the residence after a person they say was homeless broke into the family home.
When we were burglarized, jewelry, cash stolen.
And then late last year, while the family was away from their property while repairs were being made, their Ring camera caught this. The woman in a green sweatshirt and purple shorts tried to break in, says the family. And when she couldn't get in, she made herself at home in their backyard for at least 24 hours. The family says for 5 years they've pressed Union Pacific Railroad Company to secure the tracks where trains no longer run, but never got a reply.
We're asking for them to do something about the property, make it not so attractive and not so easy for criminals and homeless people.
This is Union Pacific's response. It says Union Pacific is committed to working responsibly in the communities we serve and putting safety at the forefront. I can tell you this, Christine, there's a hearing set for this Friday. It's very preliminary, a week from today. Laura Diaz reporting live from Fullerton. Now back to the studio.
Problem in a lot of areas. All right, right here, lots of fun, big events, also big traffic in LA this weekend. The LA Marathon starts Sunday at Dodger Stadium, stretching 26.2 miles to Century City. Hollywood streets are also shutting down for Oscar preparations. Expect road closures and freeway slowdowns. Also, plan ahead by checking the latest traffic updates at foxla.com or on the Fox local app. We are also looking at windy conditions this weekend. The Santa Anas are sticking around and will be bringing warmer weather across SoCal, with highs expected to reach into the 80s by Sunday. Oh, and we see those trees that come down as well, so if you're parked under a tree that seems sketchy, you might want to move it. All right, let's talk about the weather now.
Good Night LA Weather is sponsored by the law offices of Larry H. Parker.
We're starting here with a time-lapse view up over our coastline earlier today. Gorgeous conditions out there. We did get that sunset at 5:54 this evening, and we will have that sunrise tomorrow for our early risers. I have to always give it to you, up at 6:14. But gorgeous conditions to finish out our work week here. We do still have high pressure that is going to influence our weather pattern, continuing to drive in our windy conditions through the rest of this evening and, of course, into our weekend as well. We are also looking at the potential, just as you heard Christine say there, for our temperatures to be in the 80s come this Sunday. Temperatures right now 55 in LA. We're at 60 over in Riverside as well as Santa Ana, 55 up in Thousand Oaks, and over in Pasadena, temperatures at 53. Our sustained winds are behaving currently. You'll see them right now moving in their interior section at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, slightly kicking up a little bit more out of Malibu at about 18 miles per hour. Here's a look at our lows tonight, dropping down to the low to upper 50s across most of our inland sections. We do have those outlying areas like Victorville as well as Palmdale and Lancaster in the 30s. Our mountains will take a dip down into the 20s. Now here's a look at these wind advisories. We are ineffective right now as far as all of the beige highlighted area. We do start to see our winds not only becoming more widespread moving into Saturday, but also going to be more intense out there as well. We could potentially see some of our winds in the advisory gusting as high as 35 to 40 miles per hour. And then where we do get those watches and warnings, we could see our winds potentially even higher. In some cases, could reach as high as 70 miles per hour or so. Again, moderate to strong winds this weekend. Saturday, tomorrow, more widespread and intense. By the time we get to Sunday, we are expecting those winds to calm down less intense out there, but also not as widespread. Temperatures rolling over into tomorrow are expecting to be on the warm side, and then by the time Sunday arrives, we are talking hot conditions in place. Here's a look at all of that here on our Futurecast. We do have a low pressure system that will back down moving into Sunday. We'll see it sitting off to the south of us, and that is what does allow for those winds to be less intense out there. Let's talk about our temperatures. Average usually 68 degrees. Well, 69 degrees as we roll into this weekend. Tomorrow we are expecting to be about 10 degrees above that normal, shooting for 79 degrees for Saturday. Take a look at Sunday, 88 degrees, so a lot warmer, another 10 degrees above what we're expecting to see tomorrow. We do roll into our work week with temperatures slightly cooler, but then we do have another warming pattern that is going to bring in another trend with temperatures in the 80s by the time next week arrives. For now, back to you.
We'll be ready. We are just getting started here in Goodnight LA, sports and entertainment. So we'll head to first. The VA says they're 100% disabled, but some local police officers say they can still patrol the streets. Now their chief wants them fired. That story when we come back. Riverside Police Department's planning to fire 3 officers because they have disabled veteran license plates on their personal vehicles. The officers have filed a discrimination lawsuit against the police department. Fox 11's Nick Garcia has the story.
Now, the 3 officers are military veterans. All 3 have a 100% disability rating from the VA. Now, the police department is alleging they lied about their physical limitations in order to get those plates. Their attorney, though, says that's not true. 3 Riverside police officers who previously served in the U.S. Army and Marine Corps have been served with paperwork saying the police department intends to fire them. Their attorney says it's because all three have disabled veteran license plates on their personal cars.
They're saying, because I've seen the paperwork, that these guys must have lied in order to get the disability rating from the VA, which of course is nonsense.
He says none of the officers have asked for special accommodations at work, which the department is using to back up its claims. McNicholas says the VA disability rating system can be commonly misunderstood.
Just because you're 100% disabled under the VA rubric does not mean you are disabled for purposes of California employment law.
The department told the officers it plans to fire them last week, and an effort by McNicholas to settle with the city has failed. He says he will see this lawsuit through, and if they do ultimately get fired, looks forward to presenting their case before a jury.
It's a huge betrayal, and this is everything they wanted to do, and I hope they land softly.
The Riverside Police Department tells me it cannot comment on confidential personnel matters. In Riverside, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Let's talk elections. Today is the election filing deadline for the June 2nd primary ballot in LA County, including the office of sheriff, where 8 potential challengers have filed to run against Robert Luna. Former Sheriff Alex Villanueva filed yesterday to run against the man who ousted him in 2022. If no candidate receives more than 50% of the vote in the primary, the top 2 will head to a runoff in November. Entertainment coming up after Gerard Moncure and sports.
Christine, thank you. Good evening. Plenty of action in the World Baseball Classic tonight. From Team USA scoring double-digit runs in Houston to Shohei Ohtani igniting the crowd in Tokyo. We've got all the highlights and much more coming up next in sports. But first, tonight's Pechanga Sports poll question. Baseball's World Baseball Classic is underway. Who do you have winning the tournament? United States, Japan, Cuba, Mexico, Puerto Rico, or the Dominican Republic? Head to foxla.com/vote and cast your vote. The results coming up at the end of sports.
Sports Desk is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino.
Welcome back. World Baseball Classic officially getting underway. Team USA beginning pool play in Group B, taking on Brazil down in Houston, Texas. Team captain Aaron Judge making the fans happy, signing autographs before first pitch, and makes them even happier in the first inning. One aboard, and the Judge bringing down the ruling on Bo Takahashi. Deep left center and gone. The Stars and Stripes open this one with a 2-run homer and a quick 2-0 lead. USA would extend the advantage to 4-1 in the fifth. Bryce Terang lifting the Gabriel Barbosa offering to deep left and off the wall. That's a bases-clearing double. United States handles Brazil easily, starting the tourney with a 15-5 win.
On in the WBC. The 2-1 now.
Tommy lights it up. It is gone!
Shohei Ohtani wowing the world in Japan's WBC opener. Second inning, grand slam, part of a big day. 3 for 4 at the plate, recording 5 ribbies, and actually just a triple away from a cycle, all en route to a 13-0 mercy rule victory against Chinese Taipei. Japan now set up for a matchup against South Korea tomorrow. Cactus League action, Dodgers and Royals at Camelback Ranch. Blue Crew leading 1-0 bottom first. Mookie Betts taking Mitch Spence for a ride into the left center gap. Freddie Freeman scores easily from second. Dodgers up the advantage to 2-0. A Teoscar Hernandez double sent Mookie home, and the Dodgers rolled again, 6-0 the final. To downtown, Lakers hosting the Pacers at the Crypt. No LeBron or DeAndre Ayton in the second game of a back-to-back. Luka Doncic stepping up big time, catching fire in the opening frame. 6-time All-Star, posting 22 points in the opening quarter, en route to a 44-point outing for the night. He played just 32 minutes. Lakers show up 16 in the fourth. They didn't need him. Marcus Smart dribbling around the defense leads to a wide-open Austin Reeves triple that he knocks down. 19 from AR. Lakers dominate the Pacers, 128-117. Clippers taking on the Spurs in San Antonio. They led by as many as 25, but San Antonio rallies to take a 1-point lead in the final seconds. Clips with the chance to win, but Nick Batum steps out of bounds with the ball. Terrible turnover. Spurs with the chance to go up 3 on free throws a few possessions later. Stephon Castle will miss, grab his own rebound, and scores the putback. Can you believe that? That's as ugly as it gets. Clippers fall 116-112. Big NFL news dropping tonight. Raiders reportedly trading 5-time Pro Bowl defensive end Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens for a 2026 and a 2027 first-round draft pick. Silver and black expected to pick Indiana QB Fernando Mendoza, first overall in April's upcoming draft, and now head coach Clint Kubiak will have another first-round option to match with Mendoza and company. All right, finally, the results to our Pechanga Sports Poll question of the night. Baseball's World Baseball Classic underway. Who do you have winning the whole thing? USA, Japan, Cuba, Mexico, Puerto Rico, or the Dominican Republic? And 57% of you are rolling with the red, white, and blue. That's your Friday Night Sports. More news with Christine coming up after the break.
Riverside LA Entertainment is sponsored by Yamava Resort and Casino.
Fans, FYI, there is a new trailer for the Handmaid's Tale sequel.
Then we still believed in this world. I guess it's easier to accept a story than believe that the people around you are monsters.
The Testament shifts the focus of a new generation of young women coming of age inside Gilead. Takes place 15 years after the events of the original show. The series premieres April 8th on Hulu. You know that theme song? Game of Thrones movie may be headed to theaters. Page 6 first reported Warner Brothers is developing a film in the franchise, with The Hollywood Reporter and The Wrap confirming it's in early development. All right, this is on a Friday night. We remind you of the changing weather with the warmer temperatures this weekend, much warmer. We're talking 80s this weekend. Also, the winds, and a reminder of the traffic with the marathon happening. You want to avoid that traffic as you get caught in those detours. That's it for us. For the latest news, sports, and weather, be sure to tune in to Susan Pirasuna and the Fox 11 News team all weekend long. Have a good night.